Hi there, in today's session, I will be covering the development of tooth, the stages. If you have watched my previous video, I expect that by now you are thorough with the basics. As you can recollect that although a continuous process, the development of tooth is divided into three morphologic stages for descriptive purposes, which are named after the shape of the enamel organ and are called the bud, cap and bell stage. As discussed earlier, certain points in the dental lamina develop additional growth of cells called the placodes, which are 20 in number corresponding to the site of the future deciduous teeth. These are the primordia of the enamel organ, the tooth buds. This proliferates to take the shape of a bud, giving rise to the name the bud stage, which is the first stage of tooth development. During the process, there is also increased mitotic activity in the surrounding mesenchyme. As a result, the ectomesenchymal cells surrounding the tooth bud condense. The tooth bud is referred to as the enamel organ because of the fact that it will eventually give rise to the enamel of the tooth. The enamel organ in the bud stage is composed of low columnar cells peripherally and polygonal cells centrally. As the tooth bud continues to proliferate, it does not expand uniformly into a sphere. Rather, differential proliferation, that is unequal growth in different parts of the tooth bud, leads to the cap stage, characterized by a shallow invagination on the deep surface of the bud as it turns into a cap. In the cap stage, the tooth bud is composed of three different types of cells, namely the inner and outer enamel epithelium and the stellate reticulum. The periphery or the convexity of the cap is lined by cuboidal outer enamel epithelium, while the concavity or the invagination is lined by tall columnar inner enamel epithelium. In between these two layers filling the enamel organ are the cells called the stellate reticulum. The polygonal cells previously seen in the center of the enamel organ in the bud stage now begin to separate because of water being drawn from the surrounding ectomesenchyme as a result of osmotic forces exerted by the glycosaminoglycans contained in the ground substance. And these polygonal cells now become star-shaped, but they maintain their contact with each other by some cytoplasmic processes. This cellular network acts as a shock absorber because of its cushion-like consistency. The ectomesenchymal cells condensed below the concavity or the invagination are called the dental papilla, while those surrounding the enamel organ and the dental papilla is the dental sac or dental follicle. As the invagination deepens, the enamel organ assumes a bell shape. The bell stage is marked by morphodifferentiation and histodifferentiation, both of which are happening simultaneously. Morphodifferentiation refers to the establishment of the crown shape and histodifferentiation refers to the differentiation of dental papilla cells to odontoblast and cells of inner enamel epithelium to ameloblast, where odontoblast form the dentine and the ameloblast form the enamel. In the early bell stage, the cells of the inner enamel epithelium exert an organizing influence on the underlying cells of dental papilla, which later differentiate into odontoblast. Along with this, the cells of inner enamel epithelium differentiate into ameloblast. Now remember, the cells differentiate only when they cease to divide. The cells lying in the future cusp tip or the incisor region stop dividing earlier and begin to differentiate first. However, the adjacent cells which have not differentiated continue to divide. This continuous pressure exerted from these differentiating cells causes the already differentiated cells to push out into the enamel organ in the form of a cusp tip. The deposition of dentine and enamel occurs in the direction of cell differentiation, that is, from the cusp tip to the cervical region. The advanced bell stage is characterized by the commencement of mineralization and root formation. In this stage, the boundary between the ameloblast and the odontoblast outlines the future dentino-enamel junction. The formation of dentine occurs first, as a layer along the future dentino-enamel junction. After this, the layer of dentine proceeds in the pulpal and apical direction. Now the already differentiated ameloblast lays down the enamel, which proceeds in the coronal and cervical direction. At this stage, 4 different types of epithelial cells can be appreciated. Now let's have a look. The inner enamel epithelium and the outer enamel epithelium are present just like in the cap stage. At the end of Bell stage, preparatory to the formation of enamel, the previously smooth surface of the outer enamel epithelium is now laid into folds. And in between these folds, the dental sac forms capillary loops to maintain a rich nutritional supply and compensate for the loss from the dental papilla owing to the formation of mineralized dentine. Before enamel formation begins, the stellate reticulum collapses and thus reduces the distance between the ameloblast and the capillaries. Apart from this, a few layers of squamous cell form the stratum intermedium between the inner enamel epithelium and the stellate reticulum, which works synergistically with the cells of the inner enamel epithelium as a single functional unit and forms enamel. You can appreciate that the dental lamina degenerates and may leave few fragments. Apart from this, the junction between the outer and the inner enamel epithelium is seen. This is the cervical loop and is essential for the formation of the root. This cervical loop proliferates and gives rise to the Hertwig epithelial root sheath, which bends at the future cemento-enamel junction into the horizontal plane, forming the epithelial diaphragm. Remember, the free end of this diaphragm does not grow, but the epithelium proliferates coronal to the cells. The cells of this sheath induce the differentiation of radicular dental papilla into the odontoblast. After the first layer of dentine has been laid down, the sheath loses its structural continuity. Some of these remnants may persist and are known as the cell rest of Malazes. The disintegration of the sheath allows the cell of the follicle to interact with the dentine and differentiate into cementoblast, which lay down the cementum. In case of the multi-rooted teeth, the process remains the same, except the diaphragm forms tongue-like extensions depending upon the number of roots being formed, which later fuse with one another and give rise to the apical foramen openings. And this completes our development of tooth. If you were able to understand the topic, do not forget to like, share and subscribe.